Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Good morning,
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. And it's a celebration for this day. Newspapers. Happy 30th anniversary. Really such a great news. I mean, we were supposed to do the anniversary today. We moved it to the 27th, I mean the anniversary ceremony. Yeah. So now it's going to be Monday the 27th for the awards to be handed out. I mean, I believe that some awards will be given in Davos tomorrow. Yes. I mean, we have the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala that will be there, probably in Davos, right? Yes. And, you know, I hope that Benedict Orama will be there. So we really will continue to arise and shine as always. Congratulations. Dr. Abati, how long have you worked with this day? I see your column is it Monday or Tuesday? Or Tuesday, every Tuesday. You're an ancestor. This day, you're collecting salary. All right, you're collecting salary.
You're very sure about
that. we know the type of salary.
You get
what is it called? We are going to start taxing you, Dr. Abati. We are taxing you, Dr. Abati. But all right, congratulations.
Yes, the only person I know that still writes checks in this day and age.
Oh, he's a grandfather. You've not moved away.
Yeah, he can't leave his checkbook.
Well, all right. Well, all right. I can't wait for the celebration.
Dr. Abati, where's your bank account?
7. We're also celebrating Arise News at 12 on the 20th. Yes, a lot to celebrate. Yes. Well, what do we say? Congratulations to the Duke of Owa Kingdom, Prince Nduka Obaigbena, who has been, you know, the shining light moving this whole organization forward. Congratulations to everyone at this day at Arise News. Well, all right. Let's begin what's trending. Here in Nigeria, the father of Timileyin Ajayi, the gospel singer who confessed to killing his girlfriend on Monday, pled for the release of his son. The gospel singer was arrested last week after he was found with the severed head of his alleged girlfriend, Salome Adaidu, in a polythene bag. Ajayi had confessed to killing Adaidu out of anger after he discovered that she allegedly cheated on him. He also admitted that he was not remorseful about killing her. Well, Ajayi's father, during an interview on Monday, pled with the Nigerian government to intervene and help his family resolve the matter.
I want the government to make them help me, make it the matter herself too. I beg. Maybe they can help me beg the people.
It must be very hard to be a father of a man like that. I mean, you would hear the outrage of Nigerians saying, didn't you hear your son say that I'm not remorseful? Didn't you hear your son describe the horrific manner in which he cut off his girlfriend's head in the bathroom? I saw this story when I was away and I was appalled that this sort of, you know, madness is happening in our society. I mean, we hear it, you know, abroad. We hear these sort of people that are deranged, doing this sort of madness. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Right, so I mean, I want to say that yes, you say it's difficult to be a father or a mother, a parent. They say that even when a child, no matter how bad a child is, he can still go home. He's still you can't throw him away. But in this instance, in the spirit of fairness and justice, I think this father did wrong by asking and pleading that they should help him beg Nigerian government. They should beg him to have spoken or raised his son well so that he would not go around killing other people's children. What should Salome's father do at this point if he's begging? I think what the mother said is better, which is like she puts it in the government's hand, whatever they would do. These are the kind of, I'm sorry to say, parents who would shield a child that is doing wrong, all in the bit to say that, this is my child. I can understand the sentiment of it, but the truth is that a life has been lost.
Yes.
The least we can do is allow the law take its course, and if he's found guilty, then he should face the full wrath of the law. Especially because he has shown such that's the guy now. By the way, he's not a gospel singer. Please let's be guided. No. He released a song. He's a motivational speaker. Please.
Okay, so just because he released a song, he cannot be qualified. He can't be qualified.
What did he do as a gospel? What has he done? Anyway, did he self-describe himself?
Oh no, that's what he's known as.
Well, let me not digress. That's
Pastor is
Pastor is speaking.
That's it.
Speaking for the body of Christ.
No, it's the truth. We have to be honest and call a spade a spade. But the truth is that I hope that this matter will be investigated. I'm still of the opinion that there are people that they need to ask him serious questions, especially if he acted alone or if he has a cartel or a group behind him. I think that's also important to establish. But I do believe that it's time that parents began to take responsibility for their actions, or in terms of their children. It's very important. I wouldn't say no mercy, but what I would say is that let the law take its course. Salome's parents are grieving as well.
Absolutely. I mean, Dr. Bati, when I heard his confession, I could swear that he has some mental issues, 101%, because he was not coherent, and it appeared that he was trying to do, cover up in some way. And a lot of people have accused him of some sort of human trafficking, probably being in that gang. Dr. Bati.
Well, insanity is one of the grounds for defense in criminal matters. So that would be for his lawyers to prove.
To prove, yeah.
So you will need to get a very strong lawyer who is likely to prove insanity if he succeeds in court. Number two is that confession is the strongest evidence that the prosecution needs. He has confessed with his own mouth, and he has also said, he decided to slice the poor lady into pieces so as to hide the evidence. So that confession already indicts him, and it's already been charged to court for culpable homicide, the punishment for which is death. Now, it's for the court process has already started. The father coming to plead with the federal government saying he's begging, that's completely irrelevant to the case. They don't say I beg in the court of law. However, the mother says government should do what it has to do. However, there are some very quick lessons in this. The first is about violence. In his confession, he was saying that he was first attacked by the lady, and then he fought back. And provocation, which is also probably another thing that his lawyers can tender as defense, that he was provoked. Because he said, one, the lady attacked him. Two, he found that the lady was cuckolding him, was cheating on him. So that you may also classify under provocation. But the third point is that on no grounds should anybody embrace violence.
Yes.
Couples, boyfriends and girlfriends should learn from this to see that, look, violence has no purpose because you never know how the thing will go out of hand. It's not compulsory that you stay with a particular woman or with a particular man. It's better to just separate instead of getting to a situation where murder will be involved. Now, about not just two lives are involved. How about the lives of the families that are involved,
absolutely.
the agony and all of that? So the father pleading, I think is completely irrelevant to the matter. But it's just, as you pointed out, being a father.
It must be really tough.
That matter that is already before the court. He's already been remanded in Lafayette Correctional Center, and the case will come up. He will be properly arraigned as the court had already directed.
And my heart goes out to the family members. I mean, really, Salome's soul, may her soul rest in peace.
So a couple of things. I want to look at it from the slant of relationships in the first place. And a lot of things he has said, the sad part is Salome cannot come and state her own part.
She can't now.
So when he says violence, Salome is there. She can't come and state if actually she used violence, because there are always two sides of the story. So we take what he said, whatever he said, with a pinch of salt. But the most important thing, he ever had evidence is that he had seen this. And we cannot even divulge the fact that Nigeria has a thriving ritual killing sector.
Yes.
In fact, it's an economy on its own, ritualist. And that's why you see some of us, when they are saying they are rebasing an economy, and they say they want to add all these illegal sectors, maybe it's going to give oomph to them, which I do not like. And that's why, yes, the MBS has said prostitution and some other things in the economy, but let's also be careful.
All right.
Because Nigeria has a thriving banditry sector and ritual killing where people's body parts are being sold for ritual killings.
Right.
So that's one point. And we must try as much as possible to destroy such gangs, because there's a gang that does things like this. I mean, we remember from the days of Clifford Orji and the likes.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, with relationships, maybe it's time that once you start to get serious with somebody, I think it's good for spouses to go on mental examination. And I say that for a reason. Because a lot of people increasingly in relationships are with people that use drugs, that they hide it from people, and the psychosocial, mentality of such individuals cannot be trusted. there are some people that have dated women that, you cannot trust the integrity of their psychosocial analysis and things like that.
So you advise therapy?
It's not therapy.
Mental evaluation when you are in a relationship.
Mental psychological evaluation of the other party. Because see, Oji, you can only speak for yourself.
Right.
You cannot speak for the other person.
It's hard to
And when it happens, so that and there are a lot of people watching me that are in marriages today that they know the person they are with cannot pass the psychosocial integrity test. They are big women or big men and they are being beaten on the daily. In fact, they've threatened violence against them. So I think that's another part I want to put into it.
All right.
It's sad that the dead cannot come back to life and tell what
their
really
own
happened.
Story. All right. Well, my heart goes out to the family. And may Salome's soul rest in perfect peace. Well, in another development, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bolaji Akinyemi, on Monday advised President Bola Tinubu to avoid confrontation with the newly inaugurated 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Trump, who was sworn in on Monday in Washington, D.C. during his inaugural speech, had promised to deport millions of criminal aliens who illegally gain entry into America and signed several executive orders, including a controversial order seeking to revoke birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. Well, Akinyemi advised Tinubu during a television interview that he should devise means of dealing with Trump, even if he does things that annoy or step on the interests of Nigeria, and steer clear of antagonizing him, describing Trump as a bully. I mean, this news, when the headlines, headlines really make a lot of sense sometimes. It was quite funny. He said that, there's nothing a bully likes better than taking on people who are, not strong enough to resist him. But in another development, though, India has agreed to repatriate approximately 18,000 of its citizens who are living illegally in the United States. Well, according to a Bloomberg report, India is working behind the scenes to appease the Trump administration to avoid a trade war with the U.S. The report states that the two countries have together identified some 18,000 illegal Indian immigrants in the U.S. to be sent back home to align with Trump's immigration policy. I mean, this decision, as you know, reflects both a diplomatic strategy to maintain smooth economic relations and highlights the ongoing unauthorized migration. I just want to read this final one before we discuss on the issue of the executive order signed by Trump to revoke birthright citizenship. A coalition of 18 democratic states in the United States have filed a federal lawsuit challenging President Donald Trump's action. Birthright citizenship is protected by the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868 after the Civil War, which stipulates that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are automatically citizens. The White House issued a statement Monday that the century-old interpretation was misplaced, clarifying that the privilege does not extend to children whose parents are not U.S. citizens. Dr. Abati, we know that this was subject to, interpretation and was definitely going to be challenged by, these attorneys. I believe that the suit was joined by attorneys from California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, and of course, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. This is a really big issue, Dr. Abati.
Well, 18 states. All these 18 states are democratic states. And what they are saying is that an executive order may have been given, but this is a constitutional matter, the 14th Amendment, which is over 150 years old. And we had made the point here that executive orders do not necessarily represent the law. They are administrative fiats, whether it is TikTok or it is on immigration, and they can be challenged. And this is the first example, being challenged in the courts. The attorneys general of the states that you have mentioned, they filed their case, the suits, yesterday. And also the American Civil Liberties Union has also gone to court. And I see that Nigerians will be most interested in this because of this thing we have, baby delivery tourism.
Of course.
You know, many Nigerians, you know, once they are a few months gone, they relocate to the US because of citizenship, or they go to Ireland. They used to go to the UK too, until the UK, you know, put restrictions saying, yes, you only become citizen after you fulfill certain conditions living in the UK for a certain number of years. But we'll see what happens with all these challenges, not just on this, but also on other matters on which President Trump has signed the executive order. Number two is Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Where Professor Bolaji Akinyemi makes you know, President Trump look like the headmaster of the world. And in any case, because the US is the superior power, and Trump himself, the way he carries on, leaves no one in doubt that is the super headmaster of the new global order that is going to influence. Otherwise, President Tinubu, you know, needs no early warning. He's president of a sovereign state.
By himself,
Trump is president of a sovereign state. The two personalities can only relate at a diplomatic level, at a bilateral level, as heads of two different countries. But I can understand where Professor Akinyemi is coming from, saying, look, any small country that takes on Trump will only get, you know, badgered for it. There were other things that Professor Akinyemi said, including the statement that he didn't think President Trump's speech was good.
Right.
He said it was a rabble-rouser to a mob. Well, he says it was the worst inaugural address that he had ever had in his entire lifetime. He said the best was the one in 1961, or 62, by President J.F. Kennedy. And that this one is the worst. Well, people have different opinions. I didn't think that it was a horrible speech, but where President Akinyemi was coming from probably was his objection to, you know, President Trump throwing away the entire legacy of President Biden. But that President Trump poses a threat to the existing global order, where Professor Akinyemi is right in that regard. You recall that during President Trump's first comment, Professor Wole Soyinka tore up his green card and said he will not go to he will leave the US just to allow Trump to impose his will and perform his nonsense. Well, he left after 4 years. I don't know whether Professor Soyinka went back, but this time around that Trump is back. Professor Soyinka is likely to be another person who is likely to say, well, look, he doesn't want America's Trump until he leaves.
I mean, you know, Trump's inaugural speech and, you know, most of his executive orders have been, you know, talked about, criticized, condemned, or even hailed. I mean, we touched on a little bit on the Indian story where Bloomberg is reporting that, you know, Narendra Modi is organizing himself already to stand firm with Donald Trump. But also, I wanted to take Bishop Edgar Body's story, who she was actually trending after she urged President Donald Trump to show mercy to immigrants and the LGBTQ community during the Washington National Cathedral's National Prayer Service. She also called for compassion for marginalized groups, including those fleeing war and persecution.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
I thought that was quite a powerful, very powerful plea by that bishop. It's quite controversial too as well, because obviously you know the issue with LGBTQ and religion as well.
It's very powerful. Yeah. And the plea is for those, that need to be included, that needs to be shown mercy.
Yes.
The what's it called? The people that work in factories that might not be legal. We don't all come into a country legal. Even the Trump that is talking, at some point, his parents, his grandparents were from Karlstadt in Germany, and they were legal migrants. Even Elon Musk had to naturalize himself. So, but I want to say something very poignant about the Better movement. And I'm not surprised that Trump is using this Birthright citizenship thing, because how did Trump become prominent in the political circle? Let's go back. It was for the Better movement, when they were carrying conspiracy theories that Obama didn't have the right to be American president because he was not born in situ. But it goes back, and I want to see what the Supreme Court is going to say, because I know this case might go up to the Supreme Court. In 1898, there was a case at the Supreme Court, United States versus Wom Kim Ak. Because after it was ratified in its constitution that birthright citizenship, there was still a lot of discrimination and racism. Black people suffered this discrimination. Some of them, sons of slaves born, couldn't even get a chance to still be called Americans. Until the case of this wonky act happened in 1898, where he was born in San Francisco. At the age of 21, he went to visit his parents in China. Then he came back. They said he was no longer an American citizen, and he took them up. And the court ruled 6-2 that this should not exclude anybody. So when you look at it, there's already a precedence as regards this, and that's why I'm happy that these states have taken it to court, and a lot of them are citing this precedence. As regards President Bolaji Akinyemi saying that President Tinubu should maintain his lane. He has a reason for saying that too. Okay. You see, because a lot of Nigerian politicians, they are the ones that will go and do something in America. America has secrets of many of them. So if you do and overdo now, they will just bring your secrets out. So let's be careful, though. And he knows why he's warning. And I also completely 100% agree with him. Trump's speech is one of the worst I've heard as an inauguration speech in America.
All right.
Honestly, one of the worst. Very deprecating on his predecessor, very deprecating on the outlook of America, very provincialist, very bleak to the world. I mean, we've had better speeches. We've got nothing to fear but fear itself. We've got seek not what you can do for your nation, but what your nation can do for you. We've heard Yes We Can by Barack Obama.
All right,
we've had Resurgence of Hope, and this one, bleak, nationalistic, protectionist, anarchist in nature.
Well, this is bringing common sense. A revolution of common sense.
Making America great again.
A new golden age for America.
Golden age of
talking about quotes.
Do you know that some Nigerians have given him names? I'll take a story at the end. Some Nigerians have given Donald Trump names. Well, let's take another story here. President Bola Tinubu's son, Seyi Tinubu, has again been endorsed as a potential candidate for the governorship position in Lagos State. The latest endorsement comes from the former deputy campaign manager for Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed in the 2023 presidential election, Isaac Balami, who said that Seyi Tinubu has the fundamental right to run for governor, emphasizing that he is of age and qualified for the position. His statement followed a comment made by an All Progressives Congress chieftain in Lagos, Joe Igbokwe, who criticized the endorsement of Seyi Tinubu by some groups as a potential successor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Ayo, I mean, this story has a lot of dynamics. Yeah. We are seeing APC condemning those supporting an APC guy, Seyi Tinubu. And we are now seeing Labour Party people supporting Seyi Tinubu. I mean, but this is not the first time that we are seeing this sort of endorsement from Seyi Tinubu. I believe last week, this social media influencer or activist, they call him, a very dark man, also endorsed Seyi Tinubu. What are your thoughts?
All right, so anyone has the right to endorse anybody they want to endorse, although it is quite suspicious and interesting when an opposition party member comes out like this to endorse someone from the other party, when they also have their own candidate or someone who is already saying that he's interested to run on the platform of the party. In terms of eligibility, fundamental right of Seyi Tinubu to run for governor of Lagos State, according to the Constitution, if he's at least 35 years old, he's Nigerian by birth, and he has a political party that is sponsoring him, then he has the right to, and he qualifies in those areas. When it now comes to the choice, it's the people that will make that choice. I see that he has come out a bit more with his philanthropy, speaking to people. But we know that this issue of Lagos governorship or who will take on the seat has become quite the topic of debate or conversation. A few names have been thrown into their hats into the ring or have been put up as, potential candidates in Lagos State. I think the APC will have a fight on their hands in terms of who. There's, they haven't declared yet, so let me not mention names, but a few people have, been mentioned in different quarters that they might just be interested. But in terms of eligibility, he's eligible. In terms of morality or what you feel, it's up to the Lagosians to determine whether or not, or have to decide at the end of the day through their ballot that they want this person. But the most important thing is that INEC should also help us as well during the day of election to ensure that the election is free and fair, that the will of the people actually is supreme. Dr. Abate, a quick comment.
What is the big issue here? In November, the People's Democratic Party, when this whole thing started, said that the PDP in Lagos State will make sure that nobody imposes an inheritance culture at the level of governorship on Lagos State. In other words, they said they would not want a Tinubu dynasty in Lagos State. Since then, some other names have been mentioned as persons who will be interested in becoming governor in Lagos State in 2027. It was in that context that OjyOkpe, an APC chieftain, then said, no, people should stop talking about Seyi Tinubu becoming governor. And now you have this Isaac Balami responding to OjyOkpe and saying that, look, Seyi Tinubu has every right. He's of age, he's qualified, he has done a lot in Lagos State and all that. Well, in terms of all of that, he's right. It's his opinion. Right. But I think in terms of the way politics works out, it's too early, whether in Lagos State or in Rivers State, or anywhere, for anybody to start talking of who will be governor. Some of the people who joined the race early, will fall by the wayside. And in any case, in Lagos State, they have a very peculiar structure. They have this thing called GAC, an elders committee who decide who will be the next governor. So at the end of the day, until the Babasokpe crowd of Lagos State takes a decision, you really cannot expend so much energy saying this person wants to be governor, that person wants to be governor. But on the general point about Seyi Tinubu being qualified, well, if he shows interest, why? He can show interest. It is for the people of Lagos State to now decide.
As always, roofing on fire.
It should not be, nobody should talk about imposition or, or inheritance or dynasty.
As far as I'm concerned,
yes,
dynasty plays a role in politics.
Okay.
Money plays a role in politics. And most of these people you so-called think they are people of integrity society. God only knows what they do at the background. So don't be surprised anybody that endorses anybody. If the money is available and the machinery is available, Seyi Tinubu will be governor. He's just here to analyze and say, welcome Governor Seyi Tinubu. You know me, I don't like to deceive myself. And there's no better time to start talking about it now.
All right.
So when people are talking, you think they don't know what they are talking? There are talks in different quarters about who's going to be governor. Next governor of Lagos State is being decided. That's just it.
At this moment.
Like I said the other time, one man down already in the race.
All right.
I think after Obasanjo's house has this thing, maybe might not have that off again. So people are deciding. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. It's money.
Okay.
I rules the election process in this country.
All right.
It's already
money rules the electoral
Governor
process.
Seyi Tinubu Abalola.
Welcome. Lagos right as a Lagosian, she's speaking as a Lagosian. The Lagos people will.
With due respect.
All right.
Has the voice of Lagosians been louder than the voice of Babasokwe in governance?
In the last election, during the presidential election, yes,
in governorship, was it louder?
It will be louder.
Was it louder?
All right. At the end of the day, let us hope that the Lagosians will decide at the end of the day. All right. I wanted to move away from politics, and I saw this story over the weekend that touched my heart, and I just really wanted to highlight it really quickly here. It's a story about this unidentified group in southwest Nigeria that, captured and killed an endangered leatherback turtle, sparking outrage amongst environmentalists. The turtle was left to suffocate and dehydrate in a vehicle, as we'll see in this video that made the rounds over the weekend. Dr. Abati, my heart broke when I saw this over the weekend. This is not the first time we're seeing this sort of incident occur. I mean, we haven't really identified which particular area this incident occurred. I've been trying to take the story since Monday. Your thoughts on this?
Well, number one, there are laws on wildlife conservation. There are groups that, are into wildlife conservation. It's not just a turtle that Nigerians will grab. They grab a pangolin too, and take them to China, to use the shell and also the distance. But it just shows, one, the fact that the laws are not being enforced. Second, the usual cruelty of the average Nigerian, or should we say African, to animals. There is nothing that our people that turtle. I hope there will be follow-up investigation.
Yes.
It will have ended up in the pepper soup pots
of
some people.
Oh, that's what they caught it for, to kill and eat. Yes, that's what it was for. They eat it. That's what it's for.
So anything is a game when it comes to this hunger thing is very serious. People will eat anything that is available. But it's just for the authorities to be a bit more vigilant. When you see some of the videos in other parts of the world, you see when an animal is entangled or endangered, even in the ocean, these foreigners, they will even help the animal to survive.
Yes.
And they will send it back to water.
That's how your own
people carry this turtle, their head was already saying soup, pepper soup. That's just the reality.
It is.
But I hope that we will improve in our society where it won't be anything that crawls that is food.
I mean, it shows there is hunger in the land, but really we need to enlighten the public. Yes. This is an endangered species and it should be preserved for our ecosystem, really. We'll take our final story. In the wake of President Donald Trump's inauguration, Kano-based politician and musician Timileyin Ajayi, who has been a staunch supporter of the United States president, organized a party in celebration of the inauguration. Ajayi posted the video of the event on TikTok with a caption, "Congratulations, Mr. President." Let's take a look.
Shugaban kasar Amerika, da martaba Trump, Allah kara maka daukaka. Kowa ya yarda da Donald Trump. Kowa ya biya, kowa ya
Do you guys remember this man? When he was campaigning for Trump, he says, I'm going to America to visit Donald Trump. And now he spent all this money to do a party. I hope Donald Trump, I had to play it on international TV. So Donald Trump, just in case, can see. The kind of support.
I hope he will track to the US.
No, he was on a camel's back. Remember, he wanted to use a camel to cross the deserts of Africa.
He has a visa. And I won't be deported.
Will they give him a visa quickly?
We have bigger issues issues in our country to face.
Kano.
You know, it's comic relief. A lot of things of things are cruising in Nigeria. But I do hope that, you know, all the best to him and his Donald Trump love.
Yes.
But the truth is that I think it's just for cruise.
It is for cruise.
But hopefully
he seems very happy. And I'm sure he's not the only Nigerian that is happy about Donald Trump's victory. But this was his campaign video when he came out during the support. He's going to America to see Donald Trump. But, you know, again, what can we do? We have to continue to congratulate Donald Trump at the end of the day. What are you going to say?
But, you see, this love for Trump, it's a reflection of the fact that leadership is also failing here. Because a lot of Nigerians, what they project and they say is, oh, why can't we have a leader like Trump that will fix our country, that will do this, that will say our country
Well, guess what? Rufai, Americans also voted for Trump. A lot of Americans support Trump as well at the end of the day. Well, all right.
Trump wants to make America great. We have a president who wants to restore hope.
Renew hope agenda.
So
restore it.
The rhetoric is similar.
Absolutely. All right. Well, as we end What's Trending, let's take a look at President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump's inaugural ball dance at the Commander-in-Chief Ball in Washington.
Hallelujah. Glory, glory. Hallelujah.
This was so beautiful to watch, really. Again, Melania Trump remains my favorite First Lady because of her fashion sense. She looked so regal and beautiful. Congratulations to both of them. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.